All right. Hello, everyone. This is Dave Warner with Small Town Life. And today we're going to be talking about smartphones, filmmaking, the Little Falls Smartphone Film Festival, and a whole lot of other things related to that. I have a couple of guests with me. I've got Austin and Sean Green with me, and they are going to be teaching some courses. So, afternoon, guys. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for having us.
All right. And Sean's been on here before. You know, Austin. He's a virgin.
First podcast.
So he's new to the podcasting. Yeah. So anyway, one of the things that we in Creative Outpost have come up with is the idea of a Little Falls Smartphone Film Festival. And the reason we came up with that idea was that, you know, there's a lot of interest in Little Falls and the Mohawk Valley in particular for filmmaking. And we've always got people coming through here, and we're trying to attract more. But one of the things that we haven't ever done, and what I haven't seen on the North American content, is a smartphone film festival. I've seen them overseas, but I've never seen one in Canada or the United States. And I thought, what a cool way to attract people to Little Falls. So in line with that, I think that, and it's going to be open to anybody. You can go to creativeoutpost.org. And you'll see the Little Falls Smartphone Film Festival on there. And there's a lot of information on it about what the rules are, what you can do. The idea is that we're trying to draw people to the valley, and Little Falls in particular, and get them to create something here. And the idea is you use your smartphone. Virtually everybody has one today, and they can all do video. And so it can be, you know, whatever idea you come up with. And so I wanted, instead of people just randomly going out there with their iPhone and pressing record and go to this next spot and press record, I wanted them to kind of know what goes into making a film. And you guys know something about it.
A smidge.
A smidge, just a smidge. You know, your names have been mentioned before and doing different things. And so I thought it would be cool to help people get the skills to maybe do a better job during that film festival by picking up some of this. Now, we're going to do some classes that are going to be free. Some of them are going to go into the kind of applications you can use on your phone. Some of them will go into, if you want to use some better software, you have a laptop or a desktop and you want to edit your video, how are you going to do that? You guys in particular are focusing on, we've got 3 different courses already listed. And Austin, you've got the first 2. You've got one that's called Heartfelt Acting, and then you've got the Cinematic Eye. So why don't you give me a little bit about yourself first, because people will say, who the hell's Austin Green? Although I've mentioned your name before, but a little bit about your background and in particular in the film and that area.
Sure. So I was born and raised in Little Falls. Always had an interest in, you know, the filmmaking biz. To get into right away, the first class, which is acting, all about acting. I first acted in high school in a play called Little Shop of Horrors, and I was the crazy psychotic dentist. Warren, I think his name was.
I think you like those characters, really.
They're pretty fun. Yeah. I love the heroes, but the crazies are fun too. But that was my first experience acting, and it was really fun. It was staged, like, you know, Broadway and all that. So I enjoyed that, but I definitely had more of an interest in the film side. It seemed to be a little, maybe less strenuous, but it seemed like I could have more of a creative input in, like, the other sides, not just the acting, but behind the camera too, because I also had a really big interest in editing. Something I love to do all the time is go on, like, hikes or vacations and just shoot whatever and then cut it together with a song I like.
There aren't a lot of people who like editing. That's one of the
that's
colorist and editing are two.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste, but especially, like, say for example, those travel videos, you go on a trip or like I said, just a walk or hike or something, and you just shoot whatever looks fun, and then cut it together with a song you like, and then that enhances the memory almost in a way.
So how do you choose the music first based on what's in your head for the images,
differs.
or
it differs? Yeah, like sometimes I'll have a song in mind when I'm specifically hikes. I love hiking, big outdoors guy, Sean and I, and sometimes I'll have a song in mind and then go out and like
shoot for that.
Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, it'll just be random. I'll just figure it out on the way.
But I had a lot of people. You know, we just had the Cheese Festival last Saturday, and I had a lot of people ask me how I chose the music, which was, if you saw it, It was Latin salsa music. Now you think cheese, New England, New York. How does that happen? And it was a trigger. I was down in the food court and one of the bands played some salsa music and people just jumped up and started dancing and everything. And that stuck in my head. And then from that point forward in the edit, when I was thinking about editing this and what I was shooting, I was thinking that that kind of music was in my head. So a lot of movement to the imagery and stuff like that, and kind of, and
Cheese
even
salsa.
yeah,
Cheese and salsa goes well.
well, and salsa was being sold there,
Yeah,
so it wasn't a huge stretch. But I was just curious as to how you did.
Yeah,
That's how I
yeah.
did it. I found a piece of
It's
music.
a fun process.
Yeah,
It is.
and then I matched the clips to the music.
Yeah, so that is actually going a little bit more into that second class, the cinematic.
I'm sorry.
I'll go back to that.
We jumped.
We did. We'll go back and forth. But anyway, back to acting. I was really interested in that. That got me a little more interested in filmmaking itself. Like pretty much everyone, I love movies, but definitely had more of an interest in digging deeper into it. I went to Herkimer College, community college, for 2 years and had a great time there. I shot my senior, or technically my sophomore year there in terms of grand total of college. Shot my first short film. It was like a half-hour action drama comedy type thing, and that was all shot in Little Falls. And that process helped me realize how writing your story and then acting as a character in it, whether it's the lead or another, is a really fun process, especially when you're also interested in the camera work and the editing. That whole process is something that definitely having a team is great, and would always promote having like multiple, whether it be a huge team or a small, either way, a team works great. But when you yourself know how the process works, even just a little bit for all of those,
Right.
man, it's fun. It's really fun. And so after Herkimer, I transferred to Plattsburgh, SUNY Platts, for a year and a half, and learned a bit more about the business and writing, and took one acting class up there, which was all right. It was fun. It was fun, but definitely the biggest or the most fun, the most impactful experience I had up there was my senior year. I took a class, PSTV, Plattsburgh State Television, and the first year you take it, you're just a student that helps older students, managers, create their own show. And whether you work a camera, you work a teleprompter, you work the switcher board, anything like that. And then when you become a senior yourself, you can create your own show. For mine, it was, are you a fan of Bob Ross? The painter with the big afro.
I know who he is. Yeah.
For those of you
And
that
I
do
actually
know,
watched your episodes on YouTube.
so you know,
I know.
Okay.
If you know, you know.
For those of you that don't know Bob Ross, he's just this painter, had a series long ago, had this giant afro. I think it was technically a wig.
Who doesn't
which is
know about Bob Ross?
There's people I've had.
There
Some
are people who might not know. I don't
Crazy
know.
Crazy
He was,
people.
yeah.
But he's popular.
He was the
and-
happy painter.
Yeah, happy little trees.
Yeah, yeah.
Little mountains that live together, all
Yep.
that. So I wrote the show. It was 5 episodes long. I wrote the show, starred as Rob Boss instead of Bob Ross, and edited it. And that was really what made me realize that this is something that is going to be a part of my life, from the acting standpoint, the cinematic, like the camera standpoint, all of that. Because I mean, it started with a framework of the painting show, but then it evolved into like me painting a satanic symbol and like summoning demons, and then like getting high off of toxic paint and falling into my painting and using a green screen. That was a fun experience. And then the final episode of that, it ended in like this intense fight scene between me and the antagonist of the show, which is one of my good friends, Blake. And that also introduced me into another aspect of filmmaking, which is choreography, rather, fight for choreography or dance or anything like that. So there's just so many avenues in filmmaking that, I mean, you can just be like a handyman, and then there's an avenue of like set building, or you can be interested in music, and obviously we just saw for Sean's birthday here, Hans Zimmer in New York City.
Really?
And this was
Oh,
a crazy thing.
he is
Sean, do you want
awesome.
to tell
Tell
crazy
about
part?
that. That
The whole experience?
Well, just the part that we had no idea about, that when we were there, we were like, oh my God, today?
Oh, right. So about halfway through the show, Hans Zimmer decided to announce that it was actually his birthday, September 12th. same as mine.
Oh,
We
wow.
had no idea going down. That was my present for Sean.
Yeah.
We went down there, had no idea, and then someone in the crowd shouted, "Happy birthday, Hans!" And we were like, "Are you kidding me?" So that was fun. So yeah,
The whole. I just have to say,
Yeah.
the whole crowd sang "Happy Birthday" to him.
And you thought it was to you.
yeah,
You were like, "Yo!"
I mean,
That's when you bum rush the stage and say, "It's mine
he
too."
streaked.
All right.
He streaked up.
Did
there.
you streak? Yeah. Okay.
I thought
Birthday
about
suit.
it.
Birthday suit. Yeah. So that's kind of my background. Since college, I met with another local talent, Michael Flores, with his movie Sendero. That's been on a great film festival streak now.
Jeez, what is? How many is he up to now? 12.
Over 10, yeah, 12.
Yeah, I thought it
something.
was about 12.
So technically now we can say that we're award-winning filmmakers.
You are.
and that's unbelievably a grateful thing for me to say. And worked with him on that project, another that hopefully will be coming out within a year or so. And I also worked for a production company out in Syracuse for a bit, working as mainly musical event videographer, photographer, and then would take that footage, edit it into marketing, like advertisements.
Which
and
company was that?
This was Zash Vinco Venture,
Okay.
currently changed at the very least.
Okay.
So that opportunity passed. But that was a great experience. I mean, during that time, the biggest event we went to was called EDC, Electric Daisy Carnival, something like that. It's one of the biggest electronic music festivals set in the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and big names are always playing there, not just kind of electrical music artists. And I was lucky enough to get on stage to take pictures and videos of Lil Nas X and Snoop Dogg.
Wow.
So that was really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of my background. In all
Okay.
this stuff.
All right.
Yeah.
Longer than we thought, right? Sean's over here nodding off.
rambler.
He's heard it many times. And he goes,
just woke up.
he's the actor. So tell me about your first course here.
Sure.
Why did you choose this one, and tell me about what people could learn, and
Yeah.
why is acting important to us doing this film festival?
Yeah, I mean, in my philosophy, anyone can act, and most people, when they do see a camera in front of them, they forget that they can, because we all grow up playing. We all grow up playing pretend, and it's such a fundamental human thing that it's just fun. And when you adopt a sort of weight to that, when there is a camera in front of you, you can lose that kind of spontaneity. And I really, in this course, would like to introduce, because this is all pretty basic level stuff. It's not like I'm no Christian Bale, I'm no Leo DiCaprio, but there is a sort of balance in terms of like, this is a legitimate project that I'm passionate about, and I want to perform my best, but also to let that take over the spontaneity and the fun. That's what I want to help people realize the balance between, and that's what makes it continuously fun.
Okay.
So it's a pretty simple course. We're going to be shooting some scenes, scenes that I've written, or I'll find some scenes online that we can kind of work off of, and then work on like how to speak, the flow of inflections. That's the name of one of the courses in the
One
fourth.
of the sessions.
Yep,
Yeah.
the sessions. Yep. And then after that, there's one a little bit about writing your own characters, and then after that, the whole team together, we're going to write our own scene and all act in it together. So it's just going to be a big fun playing.
So it's a fun thing. It's
a fun thing.
it's a play acting kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So they're going to learn and they're going to do.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This isn't just a lecturing thing, and this goes for Sean's courses too. It's involved,
You're doing.
but it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Oh, that's really interesting. Because just looking at what you had given me, I didn't realize that was the case. That
Yeah,
it was more
yeah, 'cause
interactive.
I mean, what's the point of an acting class if you don't get the chance to play and
I
act around?
just didn't think it through.
Not accusing you.
I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
And if you want to play a part, let me know.
I'll play the part of the behind the scenes
Okay.
documentarian.
Okay, we'll turn the camera to you real quick. And
Yeah,
just get a
you
shot.
can do that.
Okay.
That's been done before.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's the acting class. Would you like me to move on to
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
so-
Let's do. And so you're doing another one.
Yep.
And tell me when this is happening.
Oh, yes. The Heartfelt Acting will begin on Saturday, October 26th. It'll run from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Not to take up too much of your days, and it will continue every Saturday after that. So November 2nd, November 9th, November 16th, November 23rd, all at the same time. And if as a group we need to move it around a little bit, I'm flexible on those days. I work later in the evening, but no big deal.
All right. And the idea is that, it's only 2 hours. We're charging $50 for all of the sessions. And the reason we're putting a price on that
Not
is
each, the whole thing.
not each. The whole thing is $50. And that's, to have people have a little bit of skin in the game. In other words, sometimes when you do free courses like this, people go, I didn't pay anything for it. Okay.
show up.
Everybody can afford $50 for this. I think it's going to be a fun.
It sure beats a college budget too.
Yeah. And, I think because it's going to be interactive and it just sounds like you're going to have a lot of fun.
And this will be, if this is something you're seriously interested in or sincerely interested in, that you can add this to your resume, because we're going to have actual footage that you're all welcome to use and study and all that.
Oh, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
So then you're doing the next one as well.
Yes.
And we're going to have, like I said earlier, we're going to have a lot of new courses are going to pop up in there as we get experts who want to teach things here. We're going to add to this kind of list.
Yep.
What's your next one?
So the next one is called the Cinematic Eye, and this focuses on how to frame shots with a camera, and in this case, a smartphone, which simplifies it wonderfully compared to like a production level camera, which hopefully maybe is a later course that we can offer. But for now, we're just very fundamental ideas of how the angles of shots impact the tone of a scene, how if a certain character, for example, is like more dominating over another, how you can use that story plot idea and incorporate that into the shot itself, a little bit of lighting, and that's pretty much it. And this is also something that is going to be interactive. We're all gonna, bring your phones, and we're all gonna like take a walk outside if it's nice out and find some nice shots, figure out like, where can we put an actor here that can support the frame itself and things like that.
Yeah. Even if it's not nice out,
we can do it.
We're going to deal with it. Atmospherics are the best.
Yeah, exactly.
And smartphones are waterproof.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I won't put you in the canal here, but
we're not worried about a bunch of gear that's tens of thousands of dollars that's going to get wet and we're freaking.
None of that.
None of that. Yeah.
So this will be, and like I was talking to a little bit earlier, like the going on hikes and just shooting whatever. Like this is another art in this whole business there's a lot of spontaneity in it. So you're going to know when you're in the moment, and it's going to be fun.
I think so. I mean, I'm looking forward to it as well. So you've been dominating the conversation, Sean.
Take over.
Even though we did a podcast with you about your book and everything, go through the background just a little bit, but this time tailor it towards more of your expertise in this area.
Okay. Yeah, so I am Sean Green, and I am the brother of the great Austin Green.
The award-winning
Austin Green.
filmmaker, yes.
I graduated from SUNY Oswego with a creative writing degree and illustration degree. Put most of my eggs in the basket of writing after graduation with the release of my first book, which is a rewrite, but total 3 self-published books, and only one is available on Amazon right now. Sorry. But
I thought you were working on that. You were going to get those up there, right?
No, those have been lost to the wind.
Oh, really?
Yes, intentionally.
In the void.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah.
So rewriting the first book has changed direction of the other 2.
Yeah. Well, they were necessary. They were a necessary part of the journey, but now it's the rewrite, and I'm working on the second book as well now, and I've got about a good, I want to say, an 1/8 done of that. I don't know how.
Nobody says I have a good 1/8. That's just not good.
I'm just trying to be special.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be unique.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, but so as well as that, in college I spent a good portion of my time doing a lot of short story writing, screenwriting. I wrote a full movie, a feature film, as well as multiple short films, and served as an editor on Oswego's. They have their own newspaper that people can submit their stories to. I submitted short stories to that, got in, and as well as served on the editing team to select and determine which, basically, do people know how to write? Are people good at writing? Do people know how to write?
We have a publication here that accepts submissions too, just in case you ever thought about that.
I actually don't think I know about that, so I'll try harder.
Try hard. Good Lord.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess I can start talking about
Yeah.
the course.
Talk
if
about
you
your course.
have-
What's it going to be like?
So-
I'm a student coming in. What am I looking for here?
Okay, yeah. So basically, I'm starting at the beginning when it comes to creating a project, and I believe that you start with the writing. You start with the screenplay or just the manuscript in general, and you come to this course, and I'm going to help writers find their voice. And specifically, I want to focus on character writing because I think, like Austin said, you can definitely create an amazing film, an amazing short film by just going out in nature and adding, slapping your favorite song on top of that and getting some beautiful scenery, some awesome atmosphere. But we're doing a contest here. And if we have a bunch of music videos, we want to have some standouts. And I think that the way to do that is to create stories, short films that have a good story there. So I want to help writers and also people who are, like Austin saying, doing their own directing, doing their own production, everything. Well, if they probably like to know how to write as well, if they haven't already. And if they do, then great. I'm really excited to work with them, and I'm happy to help bolster their talents.
I have a basic question. So when, let's say I was thinking of, I want to create something for this film festival. Let's say that's the goal, right? How do you come up with an idea? It can be the way, your brother's talking about, where you just get some great footage and you put great music to it, or you have great music and you go, I'm going to shoot this trees and flowers and along the canal and the river and whatever. Or it's a little bit tougher, it seems like, when you come to, I want to tell a story. Mm-hmm. How do you come up with that idea? How does that start? And boy, look at the grin.
Yeah, that's a loaded question.
Yes,
but
it
I think
is.
It can be a simple answer. Quentin Tarantino says that he gets his best ideas by just putting music on and then letting a story come to him that follows the song.
Okay.
But
then you're back to Austin picking a great piece of music.
Right. Music
one way.
Music is very special. It's a very, very magical thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't tell you how to come up with an idea. I think ideas come to you in a way, and the harder you struggle to look for an idea, the worse you're going to be off by letting it come to you.
Okay.
You're going to be trying to look for something, but that doesn't mean you can't be proactive about it.
Okay. So unscripted. We haven't talked about this ahead of time.
Uh-oh.
We have 15 to 30 seconds right now to come up with a quick short film idea just out of the wild blue. Little Falls specific. What would it be? You first, Sean.
The cheese festival has just happened, but one piece of cheese was left behind, and the vendor needs to get that piece of cheese back. That is an award-winning piece of cheese that ages beautifully. Even better if it's been left out on the street.
It's almost the opposite of, they moved it from summer to the fall because it shouldn't be left on the street cooking.
But he's not the only one looking for that piece of cheese.
Who is?
Well, we got the multiple restaurants of the town that
Because it was key to,
it's rare. It's that perfect piece of
Right.
cheese. So there's pizzerias.
and they were
there's
all
supermarkets.
secretly buying it
Yeah.
because that client list wasn't disclosed by the vendor, right? And so they didn't realize that each one of them had a piece of that sacred cheese.
And there's one left, and there's one left. So now everyone's
Everyone's
going to get
afraid
it.
to make a move.
Yeah.
Because if someone makes a move, then a war could begin. So we're waiting on the summit of Little Falls of the grand piece of cheese.
In the filmmaking world, that's called a MacGuffin, I believe. This one very
The magical
important
MacGuffin.
item that everyone's trying to fight over.
So how do you get to the closure of this story that we just made up in 15 and 30 seconds?
A rat eats it.
Funny enough.
You're saying there's rats in Little Falls. No, that's not what we want to say.
We have nature. Okay, no.
Chamber of Commerce would not appreciate
I
this.
hope we don't have rats in Little Falls.
No, I haven't ever seen one, but yeah.
Cute little mouse.
All right, so that basically shows you how we just wagged an idea into something that could actually be a funny film. when you think about it. I mean, yeah, the tents are gone and the vendors are gone or whatever, but you could look, when you look at your cinematic eye, how could you recreate that environment? It wouldn't take the whole street of everybody. We've got background footage we could use, B-roll footage already that would be useful. And so you get more intimate with setting up one tent and having some actors in there. Oh my God, the cheese is missing. Where is this kind of thing? And then,
black and white footage. You can do a lot. And that's
like
what
a
Austin.
talking
no one
cheese.
forget all the fancy CGI green screen. This is going to be down to earth real because remember, people have smartphones, or they're not going to have the skills to do CGI and stuff like that. So we're going to keep it
Keep
raw.
it simple. Yeah. Raw cheese.
Yeah, raw cheese. Oh.
That's the only cheese we got.
That's the name of it.
No, or who moved the cheese?
So as just like Austin's courses, these aren't going to be just lectures. Of course, I'm going to expound a little bit of my mind, but it's going to be mostly conversation. Like for the first day, which would be introductions and why write a story specifically for smartphone competition. We're going to talk about genre. What's your favorite movie? Why is it your favorite movie? And then I hope that conversation will spiral into what makes something interesting or specific to you. Because we don't want all the same films being made. We don't want the same story every time. We want uniqueness, and that's
We don't want 100 horror films, is what you're telling me.
yeah. I was holding off on bashing on horror because
Horror seems to be the thing these days. Every time I get contacted, it's, well, what kind of film you doing? Horror. I'm like, I don't watch them. I hate them. Now these are interesting to be behind the scenes and watch these things.
Yeah.
But
That's what makes a good horror really stand out, especially nowadays because there's just so many.
yeah. So
really
what
good.
does?
I haven't seen it yet, but I heard that movie Longlegs with Nicolas Cage. It was really good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Really?
it yet.
I,
but
I saw the trailer for
he
that.
wears
Yeah.
like full face like prosthetics and makeup and stuff.
Ooh.
That looks weird.
there's
but
a lot of samey horror books as well. But I heard this one book, Violet Blood.
oh, the
It's
Wolf
really
from the
good.
Wolfester series.
Yeah,
By
the first in the Wolfester series.
Sean Patrick Green.
I heard that was very unique.
Horror, adventure,
What a shame!
drama,
What a shameless plug.
philosophical.
You know what?
Cut that part out.
Yeah, we'll leave it in. Gonna sell at least one.
Yeah.
So when I leave your course, what do you think I'm gonna have in my head? You know,
I
just an
hope-
idea for a story, or
I hope, if anything, a little bit more confidence in your writing, just as it were. The name of the course is Writing with a Strong Hand. I believe that a lot of writers, at least now, tend to be a little recluse, which I understand because you're writing, you don't want to be in the middle of a park, at least.
why not?
Well,
That'd be a good spot to write, wouldn't it? Laptop.
maybe some
you wrote.
people.
Yeah.
That's where you write.
It is where I write, but I have a lot of writer friends from Oswego. They like to be in their caves, which I love them. But I hope writers appreciate the profound effects of group work, and not group work. That sounds like we're in AA, but
That's sounds like a therapy class.
Yeah, no,
Sign
no.
up now. We're going to take your $50 for this and give you therapy. It's cheap though.
I will not therapize anyone. I don't think that's a word, but
Is now.
yeah, I just want people to feel more
Thespian
confident.
eyes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just want people to feel more confident in their writing and also just realize that there are other writers around that have similar interests.
When it comes to writing, what's the difference between writing, storyboarding? How much detail do you, because I think I've told both of you that even though I do a lot of writing here, it's my least favorite thing. I have to really work at it, right? Coming up with ideas and going out and shooting and doing whatever, that's fun. Editing even is somewhat fun. Color correcting sucks. But the writing part, I struggle with.
Well, that's another thing. This is an immersion class, so we're going to be figuring out what styles we are and each other's and how we differ, because that's why this won't be a lecture course, because I can't tell everybody what to do. Everybody's different. I know some people are really good at outlining. Personally, I hate outlining. I think it's pointless, but that's just my opinion. I understand and I respect that other people have come to different conclusions on how to write. So it's not me telling people how to write. It's more of a finding out, more of an exploration of writing itself. which promises that at the end of the course, you will have a firmer understanding on what makes yourself a good writer. What are you unique at? How can you bolster your own talents instead of just, oh, well, I went to that $50 course and the guy told me this, that, and another. I guess I need to be different. No. We're going to praise your talents as they are. Yeah. And I think that's the important difference between something like your usual college class that may just tell you, oh, well, no, you need to follow the left-right rule in your filmmaking, or
this is the structure, and you don't veer from.
You don't get away from that.
Yeah, Austin and I pride ourselves on not being too structured while also not just being, well, for a lack of a better term, loosey-goosey. Because
first thing that came to mind, you two are loosey-goosey.
We don't want to be gooses.
Or silly gooses, but not too silly.
Yeah. No, there's a line that you need to tread, and this is an experience for all of us.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, we have our accolades. We do know what we're talking about, so we don't expect people to come and be like, what are you guys talking? Like, I don't need to be here.
Yeah.
Like, you will benefit from.
We'll all learn.
Yeah, I think you always benefit, even if somebody comes in who has experience and has written before. You never stop learning.
Yeah, everybody's always learning all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
We expect and hope that we'll learn as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
And so, what's the range you think of ages? I don't think there's any top end. You could be as old as you want. How young do you think the youngest maybe?
Yeah, we were thinking like high school range is probably the youngest.
Yeah,
just
okay.
because it gives us enough
attention
mature.
span.
Yeah,
and
He's
maturity.
saying that we don't think that young kids should have iPhones. Basically what he's saying.
Go outside and look at the.
Well, there's
birds.
there is a pushback against this. So with the kids. So
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably high school.
But this is not something that would be negative. Teaching them to be creative with an iPhone,
Exactly.
even if
We're
they're
trying to
8 years old, would be a positive, not a negative. I mean, there's a young kid here in town. I'm going to get his age wrong. I believe he's in kindergarten. And his mom takes a lot of smartphone pictures of him and all, but he has fallen in love with cameras. They got him a little digital camera, and he's out taking pictures everywhere. He saw me, and he is in my video, the Cheese Festival video. It's a little kid who's going like this, Nolan, and he's waving. Had to go home and when he saw me shooting, had to run home and get that camera to come back and shoot pictures at the Cheese Festival. So
cool.
You never know how young where you inspire them. But the problem with him would be there's no way you're going to structure him through a course like this. But
He'll get there. He's already
He'll
starting.
get there.
He's
But
already
yeah,
starting.
he's interested in it, and you cultivate that interest. So yeah.
This is also something that we can offer in the future. This isn't just a one-time thing.
Right,
Like
right.
what we're teaching isn't withheld to just a smartphone event. It's
Right.
very general. You don't have to necessarily be planning on submitting something, but
Right.
we're leaning toward it.
Definitely.
And we're going to look for other people, other courses that we can teach. We're going to try and expand this as much as we can and keep it going. It's not that we're going to do this one time. We're hoping to make this every year.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah, no, it's kind of cool. I mean, there are other film festivals in the area. Hamilton's got one. Lake Placid has one. Let's see, who else has got one in this area? But they're not. I mean, you can make the film anywhere. You can. I mean, here we've got some structure to it. It's got to be the Mohawk Valley, and and we've got age ranges and genres and things. We've got some rules set up there, some boundaries.
No horror. No horror.
No horror is in there. Yeah. Even animation is in there. Claymation could be in there. So there's just a lot of opportunities. And when I see the kids over here at, for instance, Benton Hall, they had a broadcast course over there where they were teaching the kids. They were getting up in front at Benton Hall.
Wow.
Yep.
Love to hear that.
That's crazy.
And
That's awesome.
I believe they went ahead and they started it at the middle school, high school, maybe. But if not, they're thinking about it.
That's definitely why we wanted to start younger wise, like the high school age, because we want to get into the educational side of everything.
Well, that's and that engineering by design mindset where they're doing more real hands-on things. That's important. Get them involved in this. We'll see if we can get these kids involved.
for sure.
Yeah. So it's been great having you guys on today. We're going to put this out there. We're going to write a story about it. We're going to try and attract attention to it. And you guys aren't going to get rich off of this. We've limited it to 10 students in each class. So, it's not a ton of money, but
we'll take it. We're happy.
You'll take it. But I think it'll be fun. We'll do some behind the scenes stuff. And I think as we go along, we'll have more material to show people about, hey, this is what we're doing and this is why. And here's what it looks like.
Let's go.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for listening today. This is all we have, and we'll see you next time on Small Town Life.